Okay, next section is to add the vertical fuselage, the lower vertical fuselage. So it says here in the manual, make sure they're vertical and no distortion. So look at the front, that's the front up there. How does this fit in? One there. And one up the front there. So when they say no distortion, they mean none that way, and make sure that the plane is flat. So to do that, we've got to keep it on a flat surface. So we might just move that board out of the way, move all this stuff out of the way. There is one other section which I need to do, I've just remembered before I put this in, and that is this strengthener in the front section up here. So let's do that. Okay, so you can see there that I need to, I can see the strip there where it's got to go into. You can see I'm poking it in there. And I'll just sort of take a quick measurement. Straight from the piece, and you can see that that's just going to slot in there quite nicely. So let's get it out. Put a bit of glue on it, more on the slot. Anything, you can see that in position there now. Okay, so you can see I put paper right down underneath here to stop this glue from falling through when we do it. This piece here, you can see these keyed sections here are just going to drop in. Should be fairly straightforward. Just need to get a square to make sure it stays square when it's drying. So let me quickly grab a square. We've got a square there. I can put another one over here. Probably just sit them like that. It'll keep it nice and square when we glue it. We'll take those out of the way for the moment. Start up the top here first. I haven't put any across the flat sections yet. I'll do that later on, I think. I'll just get this main section in first. Get these. Oops, I better not put that in the glue. So I'm just going to leave that to dry like that, and I'll probably sprinkle a bit of bicarb on there to speed up that process. Okay, you guys, just realised another important piece of missing information in this manual. It sort of shows it in the picture, but it doesn't mention anything about it, and that is the need to put that 45-degree chamfer on the tailpiece across here. So we're going to do that before we go any further, and we do that from the underside. And there you have it. You can see that chamfer on there now. Okay, so now I've done that, and I have to put the hinges in place. Flip it over. Here's my hinges. I grabbed a few more hinges back out of the pack. Trusty glue. Okay, make sure they're all sitting down firm. Let them dry. I found an interesting technique to getting the dried glue off the end of your finger, by the way. Just get a bit of sandpaper, sand it off. Pretty good. Okay, now the book doesn't explain very clearly the step about the tail wing. What it describes is that the fact that you have to put the Kevlar strip in and the hinges, but it doesn't tell you to actually attach it to the plane. So as you recall, we just put the vertical fuselage section in, and we can still fit this piece in, but we don't want to do any more without getting this tail wing in place. So the first thing to do is put the strengthening strip in. So same deal. Okay, so that's in place. Now I'm just going to put a couple of straps over here. There's one. There's another. Otherwise this gap here, you probably can't see it, but it just opens up a bit there, and it's not going to make for a strong joint unless we close that up. Getting all this glue all over my fingers now, so I'm going to be a good time to rob a bank, I suppose. I'll have no fingerprints. I've got no idea how much this stuff costs. I just found it in the kitchen cupboard. Hopefully my wife isn't needing it for cooking or cleaning or anything tomorrow, because there may not be any left. And that's just dried straight away, so I could literally take this tape off now. And the only place where it's not dry is under the tape, where the bicarb hasn't been applied. I'll soon do something about that. Okay, team. On to the next stage, which let me just say I finished the elevator here, the rear wing, and the important thing to remember when you're setting the hinges into the rear wing here is to keep this area smooth along here. So make sure that curve stays consistent and aligned. That gives you the right distance along this seam here, the positioning of it. So you can see that that's working well now. So we're on to the what do they call them? The wing fences now, according to the manual. There's one goes over here. There's some laser cut locators there, and one here. Okay, so as you can see, they're going to go through the laser cut holes, and I don't want any glue to get on, so I'll put some paper underneath. So we'll just do that quickly. next section is also pretty straightforward. There's just these little wing strengtheners here which go into here. Now these bits aren't dry yet, but because these are just going straight in there, I'm just going to whack them in there as well. Okay, so we've put these strengthener bracing pieces in, and now we've got to put the actual wing strengthener pieces in, and they actually align up with a couple of little indicator holes in the vertical lower fuselage there. So if you have a look at that, it's not immediately obvious in the book, but what we need to do is we need to put a chamfer on the end here so that it meets that vertical surface of the fuselage, and then we put a parallel chamfer to that one on here so that it sort of has a 90-degree edge. So just cut out a piece like so, and hopefully when we put that in place now, it'll line up quite nicely there. So this one sort of meets that surface there. We obviously have glue along here, and that end just sort of sits flush like that, and we'll do the same for the other piece. So I'm going to glue those in now. Okay, the next section is to apply these fibre rods. So these are the very small 1.3mm diameter round rods that come in the kit, and they need to go along the sides here and here, and they actually locate in these two little holes that we talked about before on the side, and I guess they just sort of extend down onto the attached to the wing, and then you run the glue up along there to fix them in. So we're going to do that now. It says in the book that they should be 265mm long each one, so I'm just going to see what that looks like dimension wise. Show you what I'm doing here. I'm just going to line that up along there till I get 265, and then mark that point off, and just as I did before with the scissors. Okay, there's my 4 bits 265 long. So one of them's got to go in here, like so. Probably use a bit of tape, I think, maybe to hold these. Okay, the next section is to glue on these strengtheners, or these bracing pads, what do they call them? Landing gear reinforcements. And if you have a look at them, they've got little holes down the bottom here, as well as in the front. Now, looking at the fuselage, lower fuselage, you can see the section there where it lines up with, but it's not obvious where these additional little holes down the front here go. Now, they go closest to the front corner. Okay, so the both of them pointing straight down, so you can see that one there goes on that way, and this one here opposite, so that they're directly opposite each other, and everything just sort of lines up with those holes.